Instead of Akademiks keeping his mouth shut, he continues to run his mouth. In situations like this, you got to stay low. You got to stay low till it breeze over, all right? The more you talk is the more problems is going to be for you. A lot more people need to realize that, bro. I feel bad for Akademiks' fans. Of course, he's doing his job as a content creator, but at the same time, find something else to talk about. Because you talking about Jay-Z trying to weaponize your fan base is going to be a bigger problem for you in your future. And I don't think you understand that yet. But, you having fun. You still on your high. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you smoke, it's still hitting. But you need to understand, you got to stay low. If you want this to go the way you want it to go, you got to stay low. And if you cannot understand that, you're on your own. Jay-Z has Akademiks shook after lawsuit reveals smear campaign plot. Houston, he has a problem. Yo, right here. Right here in the small box. So, we're going to check out this video by DeVille. Shout out to DeVille, of course. Let's not waste no more time. Y'all know how we start this. Let's go ahead and make it happen, all right? Yo, you, right here in the small box. Right here in the small box. Welcome back to the Flexing My Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Shout out to the Flex Mob, shout out to the Shadow Mob, everybody in the comments when I upload this video. I appreciate y'all for sure. Let's not waste no more time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibe. You tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. Don't forget to hit the hype button, all right? Anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
Akademiks is in a rocky situation as he continues to blame Rock Nation, and Jay-Z has been living in his head for days as he's been online talking about Jay-Z on Twitter, just like Nicki Minaj. He's been looking like Nicki when she does her rants, and this is crazy because it seems like all of these previous lawsuits connected to Jay-Z associates has got Akademiks' attention. Also, the investigators at his friend's home over there in Australia, Grand Wizard, has caught his attention as well. There's a lot of things transpiring behind the scenes that's made Akademiks so frustrated and shook at the same time, and he puts all the blame on Jay-Z. As of recently, he went on Twitter to say, just a reminder, we know how y'all OGs get down. The jig is up. No lawsuits gonna scare the fans or stop people from reporting the truth or keeping it 100 about y'all. Jay-Z and his homies got lawsuits mentioning fan pages. Nasty work. They trying to sue Barb's, Tory Lanez, and Drake fans, and then they're worried why Jay-Z's approval ratings are at an all-time low. Now, the first thing that Akademiks is talking about is this reference to this lawsuit that recently came up. It's CTS Research versus Zachary Storm Williams. CTS Research have filed a fresh amended civil claim against Zachary Storm Williams in the Supreme Court of British Columbia, accusing him of defamation and civil conspiracy tied to online posts about CTS and the ongoing Demery versus Desiree Perez litigation in Florida. This goes back to Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, and all that. However, CTS alleges that Williams conspired with others to launch and execute what is called a coordinated smear campaign intended to harm CTS's reputation by spreading allegedly false and defamatory information about the company. The claim directly connects the dispute to the Florida federal case Hadley versus Perez. CTS says it was sued in that Florida case in May 2025 by third parties, and that the smear campaign included allegedly false and defamatory statements about CTS relating to the subject matter of that lawsuit. Now, this whole case is a whole nother situation, but it opened up a can of worms that people really didn't expect. But what CTS is accusing Williams and other people of is being responsible of spreading smear campaigns online and having other people getting paid to do those smear campaigns. But it says the plaintiff CTS Research sues the defendant Zachary Storm Williams for conspiring with others to launch and execute a coordinated smear campaign to harm the reputation of CTS, seemingly as well as others, by spreading false and defamatory information about them. And one of the people that is being accused of spreading defamatory material, one of the people that is being accused of spreading propaganda in the smear campaign was Akademiks or Akademiks TV, aka Kevin Eric Johnson. Never heard that name before. It's pretty weird. But this is what Akademiks is talking about and referring to in those tweets. He is claiming that Jay-Z is trying to scare him and other people by naming him in these lawsuits. But how is Jay-Z responsible for things that you could allegedly be involved in after you accept some type of work from these individuals to cause a smear campaign? How is that Jay-Z's fault? This goes back to Akademiks on Twitter. And this is why I know Akademiks is shook, because people have revealed this paperwork, and now he is trying to get ahead of the curve and trying to act like it's frivolous, when in reality, it could be a can of worms that they never wanted open. He continues to say, it's starting to make sense, LOL. Only one group of people are doing this nonsense, LOL. Same play they tried to do on Akademiks TV. They're trying to scare off independent journalists and fans who ain't down with their clown show. Now, I wouldn't call.
I don't even think it's about scaring other journalists. It's more about boxing them out. You know what I'm saying? You know when you run a pick in basketball? It's like Akademiks is running an infinite pick. You know? And here come Alex. It's called influencing. Can't have it both ways. Pay for pay. Shout out Alex. But even when you sit and just pay attention to the situation and notice how things have shifted, not only in music, but at the same time in the hip hop journalism aspect. Notice how other platforms that actually have reputation, it's harder for them to actually get out there, to put their name out there, to actually say like, no, we have the facts, we have the information, because it's literally because of Akademiks and his fan base downplaying or just straight up just disrespecting platforms that actually have the proper reputation. So now, because the fans are not rocking with the actual proper journalism, they're boxing them out from really getting to the proper shit. Meanwhile, Akademiks can walk freely as if this guy just parted the Red Sea. The digital play is disgusting, because how can you win knowing that you're at a strong disadvantage? Meanwhile, Akademiks has the largest disadvantage. But look how he squanders his blessings just because of accepting payola. Notice how Akademiks is the only person in hip hop, like journalism. Technically, you can technically say he's a hip hop journalist, just based on constant reporting, constant news, regardless if it's good or bad. Let's make that clear. Because with actual hip hop journalism, you're getting proper stories, you're getting proper articles. With Akademiks, you're getting posts. It's like the watered down version of the job. But notice how Akademiks is the only one, and how the industry is taking advantage of that one by just simply throwing money at it so he can change the way he talk however he wants. But that's coming back on you, because it's not because you're the only one that positioned himself to be winning. It's that you're the only one they can pull at, to the point where they're almost done with you, metaphorically. Is that not interesting? And then meanwhile, you have proper journalists on YouTube, mind you, trying to figure it out, trying to make it work. It's tough. It's tough, but the way that they're throwing Akademiks around like a rag doll is like, it's kind of crazy. Let him stop crying. He acts like a mediator. Very valid. He acts like a journalist. Real reporting doesn't involve opinion. Amen.
Akademiks TV a journalist at all. I really wouldn't. Akademiks TV has never done any type of journalism. Akademiks TV is an Asian man that lives in Australia who posts smear campaigns and propaganda and talks smack about people all day. The last thing that he ever does is any type of journalism. Really, it's just him being disrespectful to many people, Jay-Z included. But he's saying the tactics that they're doing by putting people in a lawsuit is a similar scare tactic that they're doing when they put investigators on his homie's crib. But in reality, these are the walls cracking down on them. And they're just starting to feel the pressure now.
Good,
and I think this is why Akademiks is venting just like Nicki Minaj on Twitter. Jay-Z was complimented by Billboard in this list that they had made. Akademiks and came out and said, and Jay-Z has open investigation into smear campaigns from fan pages, and Billboard gives that weak-ass freestyle best hip-hop song of the year. Yeah, Rock Nation might have to crumble. All they're doing is trying to lie to us. We have eyes and ears and a brain.
But notice the tactics are just like Drake's. They both have this. It's not even similar tactics. It's the same tactic. It's just with a different situation. Looking at Drake, even if you want to look at the most recent situation, damn, where's she at? Damn, where's she at? Y'all trying to play peekaboo with me. Got random dudes with wine glasses on TikTok playing peekaboo with a television. Anyway, my point is, looking at that situation, damn, where's she at? Trying to direct it to ASAP Rocky because you still on Rihanna's piece. But at the same time, look at your own home. Sophie's married but not to you. I don't understand why we want to exert and push energy out like that, knowing that we should probably focus on ourselves rather than trying to push our hate onto other people. That's kind of foolish. That's kind of foolish if I'm going to be real. Now, looking at this situation, Akademiks is simply doing the same thing, trying to exert, push energy back on to Jay-Z, knowing that your hot water is well past boiling point. Brother, lock in. Like, what the hell?
Jay-Z propaganda won't work. You got to be kidding me with Akademiks, bro. He be saying the most craziest, outlandish shit ever. He said that Jay-Z is the one pushing smear campaigns because Billboard gave him a top ranking in their list. You got to be ridiculous, bro. This is him just trying to spin a poor-ass narrative because he knows that Jay-Z and Roc Nation got him shook. Akademiks has to have some nerve to come out here and say that all they're doing is trying to lie to us, when him and his pages are the ones doing all of the lying, all the propaganda pushing, all of the smear campaigns. He's trying to do a reverse Uno, and it's not going to work, bro. You can't lie to the people anymore. People already caught you in so many lies. It's starting to look bad, especially when your name appears in paperwork with a group of people on social media who've also been accused of doing the same shit that you're doing, and that's spreading narratives. Roc Nation finna pull a political alignment this year. They got all their puppets working hard. They calling any criticism smear campaign.
Yo, Rich B, you saying Akademiks has potential to be the next Wendy Williams? Here's the thing about that. I agree with you, but I feel like it might be 10 times worse. Because the day and age that music is in today is completely different to what it was back then. Mind you, Wendy Williams was not in the music space. She was more in like the drama space, but the tactics are the same. That's the thing. But I feel like with Akademiks, it is going to be interesting if it goes down that route. Let's make that clear. That's if it goes down that route. My thing about it is that why is this your only tactic? Why is this your only play? Do you not have any other play? Is that how far in a corner you're backed in? That the only play you have is to try to push it back on others as if it's going to work? You're dealing with, now I don't know if you're dealing with Roc Nation like specifically, but whoever you're dealing with, they damn near have your whole conglomerate cornered. That's crazy. I wonder if they're going to do something with Aiden Ross next, because he's part of it too.
Campaigns. Do not be fooled. These people are evil. The fact that Akademiks is saying that these people are evil is fucking crazy, man. You can't be playing victim when you're the one that's been talking shit about everybody for a really long time. You've been the one going crazy on everyone. Now all of a sudden they're the evil ones for trying to defend themselves. How does that make sense? And the fact that he's saying that Roc Nation is trying to pull some type of political alignment when Akademiks has gone and taken pictures with Donald Trump, and he's gone and interviewed his son as well, you should be the last person talking about anybody's political alignment. Let's just be honest here. He's trying to project all the things that he's responsible for on Roc Nation and Jay-Z. You can't do all these horrible things and then blame somebody else for the things that you're responsible for. You're the one that's responsible for political alignments, allegedly. You're the one that's aligned with politics. You're the one that's in paperwork accusing you of smear campaigns, but you want to call him evil? How does that make sense? He has this other one. It says there's like 3 people in hiphopmedia who can't hide the fact that they are getting paid to spread narratives from Roc Nation. They ain't worth mentioning because not one of them paid narratives have been believed or worked. We just laughed at them. So y'all paid Roc Nation shills. The point of y'all getting paid is for your narratives to actually be believed. Y'all spreading narratives that we all looking at like, dude, please get better quickly.
But you've been doing that damn near your whole career, sorry. You haven't been doing it your whole career. Let's make that clear. But you've been damn near doing it almost your whole career. So y'all paid Roc Nation shills. The point of y'all getting paid is for your narratives to actually be believed. Y'all spreading narratives that we all look at like, nigga, please. Get better quickly or Jay-Z gonna fire y'all. Y'all know how to get down. He likes results. But what about your blessings? That's my question. What about your narratives you try to push? What about your narratives you try to make people believe? What about that? Because as far as I see it, this is still defense. None of this says offense. You are not on the offensive in any kind of way. The more you run your mouth is the more concerned your fans should be. That's the thing. So looking at this post, I'm like, you could have saved your time thinking about putting this out. This is concerning news, bro. Real talk. They must really got him backed in the corner for real. What's good, J Tom?
Jay-Z gonna fire y'all. Y'all know how he get down. He likes results. And this is the funniest thing that I've ever seen. Akademiks is trying to pull like a Uno reverse card. He's trying to say that you guys are responsible for this stuff. You guys are spreading narratives. We're the ones that are telling the truth. We're the ones that are doing journalism. No, I'm pretty sure you guys are the ones that are responsible for the smear campaigns, for all the shit talking, all the crazy shit that y'all post online. It looks the other way around. I just think it's hilarious how you're trying to reverse the situation and trying to blame people for shit that you're responsible for. And it kept going. Rock Nation is trying to sue their way and buy out authentic hip hop conversations. It's going to be an interesting year because we literally know how y'all OGs been rocking. The jig is really up. It hurt my heart watching my hip hop media idol Charlemagne spit Rock Nation talking points. I'm speechless. I was proud of Joe Budden, though. At least he's not on script, even though he definitely loves him some Hove. The rest of y'all shills, I don't care. Y'all voices ain't loud enough. Now here, Akademiks is obviously still being passive aggressive with Charlemagne. I guess he has hurt feelings over Charlemagne. And now he's saying that he's somebody who's trying to push narratives. But you can't shift the blame when you're the one that's responsible for the things that are happening. Akademiks and Akademiks TV have been growing for years, talking smack about everyone. If you ask me, I think Akademiks is shook. And now he's trying to play the blame game and trying to act like he's the innocent one in the situation. That lawsuit where he was mentioned, I think is the tip of the iceberg. I think there's definitely more things going on behind the scenes, whether it's private investigators in Australia, lawsuits revealing information about accounts on social media, committing smear campaigns for money, allegedly. I think everything is starting to fall apart, and Akademiks and others alike are starting to crack under pressure. But y'all can tell me how you feel about this and get back to me. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hype the video, like the video, and all that, man. Let me know. Y'all have a good one. Keep it alleged.
Yeah, keep it a legend for real. First, shout out J Tom. Yes, make sure I hit that like button. Real talk, right? Going back to Wendy Williams, just like Rich B, we want to also make it clear we are not trying to talk about Wendy Williams's health condition. That's not what we're talking about. But for anybody that is familiar with the story of Wendy Williams, it's not the health. It's more of the storytelling and the tactics, because it did come back on her when people had to come out and say, yo, I don't know what she's talking about, but that's not true. That was one of Wendy Williams' tactics. All right, so just like Rich B, I also want to say that as well to make that clear, so I'm not attacking Wendy Williams in any kind of way. Don't get it twisted. She was a credible source at the time. She was that woman a lot of people couldn't mess with. But the same thing that's happening right now is also the same thing that happened to her. Like, eventually the things you said is going to come back to haunt you. Right? So I just want to make that clear. But going back to Akademiks now, if I was in his situation, I would lay low. I would still stream. I would still chat with the chat. Because mind you, his chat, his community knows nothing about these topics. So why waste the time talking about topics they probably will never understand? You're just sitting there teaching a bunch of people that don't have enough brain capacity to get what you're talking about. All you're telling them is to say, yo, F Rock Nation. That's all you're doing with your community. Your community is a bunch of individuals that don't have a lot of brain cells, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Right? Fortunately, over here on YouTube, on the hip hop community side, there are thousands, if not millions of us that do have a lot of brain power and the brain capacity to understand these things. Right? But I would lay low. I would focus on what's in front of you, focus on what's the real threat, and try to make sure that we can figure out some sort of way to swerve or avoid this. Because the more that you're running your mouth is the more concerning things are for you. I don't think you understand how dire the situation you're in is. Because this could ruin damn near everything for you. Does he not understand that? Like, he has no content then? That's the bed he made. That's definitely the bed he made. No doubt, because that's a sad part of the story, but you have to be careful with the energy you put out. Exactly. I don't feel like y'all was attacking her. I was just clarifying. That's all it is. That's all it is. So I wanted to make sure that I also shine a little bit of clarity on that as well, right? But at this point, we need to focus on putting the pieces to this story together. I think that's the best thing we can do right now. Now that there's more information that we can add to the information that's already been given, I think at this point we need to start piecing everything together to make a storyline. Not to make a storyline, but to make the storyline, right? I want to make that clear too, because I know how people like to use information and twist it. You got to make the undeniable storyline with the information that's given. And to be honest, it shouldn't be too hard because I feel like it's straightforward, right? That should be the goal for any content creator that's really following this. Okay, I'm too busy to do that. I got things to do and I got content to make. You know what I'm saying? But that could be somebody's content. You know, whether it's Rapaholics, whether if it's Maddie, Luesta, Blackie Speaks, any of these dudes out there that makes that kind of content, like a video documentary style kind of content, that's your bag right there. That is your bag right there. So I feel like that should be the wave right now, right? My final thoughts on this is you really gotta be mindful with the things that you say. That's something I do here as well. Like, remember, I live in Toronto, but the way people would see me talk about Drake, they would assume that I'm hating when I want him to be better. I want you to break free of the self that you are and actually be great and be a proper representative for the city, because that's something that we cannot deny here. His fame, his popularity is so ingrained in the city. That's something you cannot get rid of. I know plenty of people in America, they want him gone. The reality is, it's going to be damn near impossible to do. That's why I say I want him to be great, to be proper representative, to let go of the gatekeeping and let other artists shine, regardless if they're under OVO or not. Because coming out of Toronto with your name attached to Toronto, it's technically a good look for other artists. I just want to see other artists be great, because we need artists here to be great. That's it, right? So that's why I make sure to go down that route more than to go down the traditional route that people take, which is more like on a bashing side. That's something that I've very much walked away from, because I also got to be mindful of the place I live in. Because in Toronto, one thing I like to say is that I'm down the street from everybody. All right, all it take a little subway, take a little streetcar, and everybody down the street from somebody. All right, like, you know, you got to be mindful, because things can get real messy. Toronto definitely needs to shine. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's all that matters. That's why I'm trying to grow this channel, so I can be a proper platform to actually help artists be great. That's it. So the more that we grow together is the more that I can help the city flourish. You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to do. Real talk. It's just not my fault that there's so many inconsistencies and so much BS coming from the name that is Drake. That's the part that's disappointing, because that diminishes the city's light. And I don't want the city's light to be diminished in any kind of way. So that's why I do what I do around here, right? That's all it is. So shout out to DeVille for this.